Hey guys, it's Jessica, and today we're going to talk about the brushes I'm using right now. My favorite brushes. Here's the problem I have with this today. I was thinking like, okay, I'm excited. A few of you guys recently have asked about what brushes am I using? Like, you know, when I'm showing product demos, when I'm doing reviews, I don't always mention the brush I'm using because I figure it would get redundant. So I figured this can be the kind of a video I link where it's like, these are the brushes I'm using all of the time that I'm probably using on camera. So a lot of these need to be cleaned. Just bear with me. I wanted it to be real, and let me be very real. I'm a normal person and I don't wash my brushes all the time. And I know I'm not alone. Go ahead and play your judgery dues if you want. And my other goal for 2019 is to list more often the makeup I'm wearing on my face. So I will list what I'm wearing down below, but on my lips, I'm wearing CoverGirl Honeyed Bloom lipstick on my lips, and then the Dose of Colors lip gloss and Jazzy on top of it. I'm drinking out of a Universal Studios mug. I love how classic, like 90s this is, right? It's a good one. Okay, so this is gonna be a long video. I will have links and prices of everything down below if you are interested in any of them. It's a mix of affordable and high-end. It just is. If you want me to do a strictly affordable, more drugstore focused brush video, let me know. I can start working on that, trying out even more brushes. Over the years, I've owned a lot of high-end brushes I've not liked and ones I've loved. Same goes for drugstore. You know, it's anybody's game. And the reality with brushes is not only is quality important, but also what you yourself like using. Some people like synthetic brushes because a lot of times they're softer. Other people like natural brushes more because maybe they think they blend better, but maybe they're not quite as soft. Okay, Jessica, let's move on because you always do this. You always do such a long intro and everyone gets bored. I'm gonna start with some of my favorites. One of like my new discoveries the past year was the Sephora brand of brushes. For no reason really, I feel like I was looking for, I don't remember which one I bought first, but I've fallen in love with like 3 or 4 of the brushes. So one of my favorites is the Sephora Pro Airbrush number 55. This I actually use for powder foundation, and I love this because it's definitely a powder brush. It's round, but it's just slightly denser than another powder brush I'm going to talk about, and that's why I specifically like it for powder foundation. I feel like I can get to the areas I want to get precisely, but not so precise that I feel like I'm like stippling it on, you know, teeny tiny strokes. So I love this. Like this, I think it's because I feel like a lot of powder brushes are really, really big, and sometimes I want a smaller brush. So that's why I love this. It's super duper soft. These can be pricier. They're not like as expensive as other ones out there and as some of the ones I'm gonna mention, but they can definitely be pricier. Obviously you can buy them at Sephora and online. If you have any Sephora collection brush favorites, please let me know below because I'm interested to try more because they are very well made, and I love, they all have a really long handle that comes to a point like it's a true paintbrush. And I really, really love that. The other Sephora collection brush I recently fell in love with, so many people ask about this brush, is the number 56. So it's their Flawless Airbrush. I use this for concealer. I used it today. It's the perfect, again, it's densely packed, really soft, but it's perfect for, I literally will just push in the concealer with this. You guys, I've never had a brush that worked as well as this one on concealer, ever. And I've had some favorites, and I think I have another one, yes, that I also like for concealer, but this one kind of beats it because I can cover a really wide range really quickly. So if you're doing super detailed work, this is probably not what you want, but if you're like a lot of us, like me, I'm just like do, but I don't even have to rub it back and forth. I literally press it in and the concealer is flawless. I've never. This one is really amazing. If something happened, I would buy this one again in a heartbeat. Part of me wants to buy a second one so it's ready when they're getting cleaned, but I'm like, no, Jessica, use what you have. You don't need a second one. The other concealer brush is yet another Sephora one. This is their Airbrush Concealer number 57. I did not realize I owned 55, 56, 57. But this one is a much more detailed concealer brush. Again, I use this the same way where I don't know, I can just use this one so much quicker, and so I'm like, well, why even mess around? But this is still really nice. You can really get around your nose. Like for me, I always, let me flare my uneven nostrils for you. Did I ever tell you that I didn't know my nose was like uneven, severely uneven until YouTube? Till you goons were like, hey Uggo, you got an uneven nose. I'm like, I had no idea. Thank you for pointing out my flaws. It's okay guys, I got over it. It's really good, like if you feel like you always forget to get foundation in your nostrils, you know what I mean. Like I feel like I'll have like a red line where my like face ends and my nose begins, you know what I mean? So if you just do this, if you're only using it on yourself, go right on up there and it gets in there really nicely. So I do like that for that reason. You could totally use this for other cream products. So like if you wanted to use it for like a really detailed cream contour, totally would be amazing. It's a great, these are both really, really great products. Brushes. Well, they are products. Let's keep going on face. So the other powder brush I wanted to mention is from e.l.f. I really hope they still sell this. This is the e.l.f. I don't remember the name. I'll put it on the screen. This is the softest brush I own. I really think it is. I think it was slightly more expensive in the e.l.f. range, but it is the softest powder brush I've ever used. Again, this is what I use when I'm really in a hurry and I just, whether it's a powder foundation or just a mattifying powder, or maybe even a loose powder after tapping it off, you can so quickly dust it on your face, like swipe, 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 you're done. But you could also use it like if you like to do body bronzer. I wish I had the time or the care to, I guess. But if you like doing that, this is going to make the job really easy, especially if you're not going to use it often. You can save a little bit of money. Seriously, you guys, this is so soft. Now, I have used this with powder foundation and it was just fine. But again, if I'm only wanting to do my T-zone, this is better for that because again, it's just so much smaller. I mean, look at that. But this one is really nice. I have a couple of brushes I enjoy for concealer. One of my top favorites is from IT Cosmetics. They make amazing brushes. There's a reason so many people like them. It's a dual-ended one, which I'm not usually down for. However, this one is about the only one I like. And the reason I like it is because, let me tell you what it is. It's the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection number 7. Half of it, it says it's the all over brush. This is the concealer brush. So that's exactly how I use it. I'll use this, I'll tap the concealer onto my face, then I'll use this to blend it out, and it is a very seamless brush. I feel like all of us are always on the hunt, and some of you guys are gonna be sitting there like shaking your head. We are all always on the hunt for the foundation brush that doesn't leave streaks, that doesn't, you know, look weird on the skin. You guys know what I mean. That's what we're all looking for. This is the closest I found, okay? I think it's because you can kind of swirl it, and I just feel like this does the best job. Now, some foundations just aren't conducive to being used or applied with a brush. They're just not. So when I feel like I've got a foundation that's not blending the way I want it to with the brush, that's when I start pushing it into the skin. And I have another brush that I like that better for, and I'll show you that in a second. But this is better for buffing it in. Sometimes I'll even grab this if I've just applied the foundation or the BB cream with my fingers. This I will grab really quickly if I don't want to wet a sponge, and I can just quickly get it into those areas that I know, like especially my nose, if it didn't blend well, I can quickly tap it in and it looks great. So I love this. The concealer brush is great too. Again, it's really small. It's even smaller than that first one I showed you, but it can really get in those areas really well. And again, it's very seamless, very soft. I'm pretty sure this is synthetic, but I really like it. It's expensive. I own about 3 of these. I keep one in my bathroom, I keep one in my cup here, and then I have one clean because I love this. I travel with it often because again, it can kind of do everything. This is another one. Any of these foundation brushes would be great for blending out other cream products. So, you know, don't feel trapped in because it says it's a foundation brush, who cares? Or concealer, who cares? You could use it for, you know, if you wanted a very specific liquid highlight or maybe more of a sheared out bronzer. This is great with those cream products, so don't discount them for that. So the foundation brush, this is a newer Discover Me. Again, discovery for me. I like that, Discover Me. I'll never use it again. This is the IT Cosmetics Airbrush Full Cover, it's their number 77 brush. This is the weirdest thing, and I feel like a lot of us are recently talking about it because it was sent to us in PR. Some of these were, some of these weren't. You guys know that doesn't sway how I feel about a brush or not, or about anything for that matter. But these are ones that, it's their IT brushes for Ulta, and so a lot of people are talking about it because it was recently sent out, and it is kind of odd. It almost looks like, I don't know, like it's not a perfect triangle, it's odd. But there's something about this that is so just right. Again, this is the kind I use for, I'll spread it across my face, but then I'll just tap the foundation in because there's such a big surface area on the edge, and because it is so flat and dense, it is amazing. And I've never really gotten into using foundation brushes that way until this one. Guys, I got lip gloss all over me. Anyway, so I really like it. I was so surprised I like it because I don't usually get into brushes like this, but This one took me by surprise. Now, could you do that with a lot of wide, flat, dense foundation brushes? Sure. So if you've never tried that technique, definitely try it first before spending the money on this, because like I said, it's pricey, but it's very, very nice. Another quick mention, because I'm not sure if they still sell it, this is Sedona Lace. I've had this for years and years and years. It's their FB07, a really flat foundation brush. This is another one that I like to press the foundation in or swirl it. Very beautiful, very seamless, but I'm not sure that they sell it, so I'll move on, but I really, really like it if you can get your hands on it. If you're into paddle brushes, this one I bought on Amazon, and I have an Amazon recommendations page, like a storefront. If you click my link down below, it'll take you to basically all of these Amazon recommendations I've got, but I organized them by like hair care, skincare, makeup, and beauty, and so I know this brush is on that list. When I bought it, I think it was around 12 bucks, and in my opinion, I have the Artiste brush that's like the original kind of paddle brush like this, or like the original famous one. And I tested this to see if it was a dupe, and honestly, this one, I ended up over the years liking even better because again, it covers so much surface area. Now, these kinds of brushes are no longer really I don't know that they were ever my favorite, but they're not my favorite way to apply foundation. Again, I'd rather use a sponge or a different kind of brush, but these are so quick. I need to use it again because it's been a long time since I've used this. This one's clean because again, but it is again the softest freaking, it feels like a velvet couch. That is a weird, but it literally feels like velvet. This is way softer than the Artiste one. Amazing, amazing. Again, if it's still sold on Amazon, I know I added it to that list, so I think it is. Totally worth the 12 bucks because it is really, really good. Another powder brush, I know I'm kind of hopping around here, but I'm trying to at least stick with face, is the flower. Honestly, the flower brushes in general are really, really nice, but one that I've kept using over the years is I'm assuming it's their powder brush, their F01. Again, it's a really kind of medium size. It's not as big as the e.l.f. one, but it's certainly bigger than the Sephora one. It's right in the middle. Again, super soft. I apply powder foundation with this, loose powder, I mean anything. It's also kind of a nice size if you do like a really diffused powder bronzer look. This does a great job for that too. Actually, I think that's what I was using it for when it was sitting in my cup. It's great for that. It's really quick and seamless. It's so soft. I'm probably like wiping off all of the makeup I put on my face because I keep rubbing these incredibly soft brushes against it. Now, a brush being soft doesn't make it a good brush. You know what I mean? It might still not apply something the way you want it to, but over the years, I've realized that I've had scratchier, especially face brushes, and I end up decluttering them because even if it applies, let's say blush the way I maybe want it to, if it hurts to use, I'm like, why am I doing this to my skin? You know what I mean? There are other brushes that are softer that do what I want them to do. So I know that being soft doesn't make or break a brush, but it certainly doesn't hurt. Literally, it doesn't hurt. So speaking of blush brushes, my favorite, I now own 2 of these, which is good because this one's always dirty, is the It Cosmetics. I don't know the name, but it's like their French something something blush brush. I have had this one for probably 4 or 5 years. It's starting to show a little wear. There are a couple hairs because I have washed and loved this for over and over and over again. I hardly ever use other blush brushes. Now, if you don't like this style of a blush brush, you won't like it, right? I know some people like more like tapered ones that are like round. I don't like those. I know I've tried those a million times for blush and I cannot get the placement right. With this one, it's just flat enough where I can literally go boop, 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 boop. And again, I use this to tap the blush on. That's newer for me, but I've really gotten into it because I feel like I can get a little bit of the blush off and then I can just press it in and it looks so beautiful. It kind of more evenly applies it for me. And so that's how I applied it today. And I just love it. Now, I did just recently pick up a bunch of okay, not a bunch, like 3 Sonia Kashuk brushes. Some of them are more expensive than others. I think there's like 2 different lines, maybe more. So I haven't tried those out yet at the time I'm filming this. That's not true. I tried one of them and it was amazing. So those you'll see incorporated in some more future videos. I'm certainly doing like a Target maybe try on haul of, I literally have the bag just below me. So stay tuned for that because I am trying some more affordable brushes, and the Sonia Kashuk, they're like, that brand is seemingly focusing just on brushes and beauty tools, and I'm here for it because those brushes were, again, I literally was feeling all the testers at Target like, these are so buttery soft. So stay tuned. Okay, another brush I have to mention, it's another foundation one. I know. But I also use this for other cream products. It's another It Cosmetics. This might be my last one because my last It Cosmetics brush, because I really do love it, but they're expensive. So this is the Heavenly Luxe Angled Radiance number 10. Angled Radiance, I don't know. I use this for cream highlight sometimes. I use it for cream bronzer or contour. I use it for foundation. This is such an amazing shape for any of those things because it is thinner, right? So like if I compare it to the dual-ended one I like, this one definitely has a different shape to it. And so for that reason, I really like it. You could use it for concealer. I know I used it in a pinch that way and it was beautiful. Again, it's that same thing that It Cosmetics is using, the same type of brush, that soft, ridiculous, dense. So I really like this. I didn't want to not mention it. I was like, maybe I won't, but I had to, it's so good. Okay. Another e.l.f. brush I love, this one it's always in my little brush cup at the top of my vanity, is this brush. I want to say they call it like their C brush, I don't know. Again, I'll have it linked below, but I use this every single day for laying shadow under my brow bone. It's just the right, it's super soft, super synthetic, but it's just the right shape to get right under the brow. I don't know, like I can't branch out. I've tried other ones and I'm like, oh, that's fine, but this is my ultimate favorite one. Again, I hope it's not discontinued. If it is, I'll find a similar one because I'm sure e.l.f. still sells one very similar to this, you know what I mean? Because it's a standard brush, but there's, again, it's just something about it. It's so perfect. So I always am using that one. Another affordable one, this Real Techniques. This is, I think it's called their setting brush. I've had this for years, so it's worn off. This is my favorite Real Techniques brush that I own. I use it all the time for setting my under eye. If I've got a powder that I'm, using, you probably know which one I'd be using. It's the perfect, it's super soft, but again, it's that perfect size for setting it down. And because it's tapered on both sides, if you just want to get the powder on one edge, then you can just lay it down on that edge and it still works perfectly if you don't want to fluff it all around. Because here's the thing, sometimes I forget to set my under eye powder and then I've done my mascara and I'm like, ooh, I need to set my under eye. And if I got powder all over the tip of a brush like this, I'd just be, the powder would be flinging everywhere. It'd be all over my mascara. So I like that if I've forgotten, which happens 2 times a week, give or take, I can just do it on its side and do it. Ooh, the sun's coming in. Hello, sun. And it works really, really well. Y'all want me to shut those blinds? It's kind of nice though, right? Let's just see how this plays out. Okay, another one that is slightly affordable is from Morphe. Now, I actually buy my Morphe products. I don't have an affiliate code. Why is it always brush companies? Like, it was all Sigma way back when, and then it was Morphe. Like, it's always a brush company that's like the bear of all like affiliate codes. Anyway, I actually buy my Morphe products for half off on HauteLook. So HauteLook, I mention all the time, again, not sponsored, just addicted. I have a referral link down below, but you can, feel free to just go to the site on your own too. But it's 50% off of like high-end makeup brands and stuff. But the thing is, it'll be a flash sale. So like Morphe will come on like, oh, there's gonna be a Morphe sale on there Thursday, and it'll be on for like 3 or 4 days, and then it goes away. And then like a month later, Morphe will come back on. So brands like that are constantly popping up. Bobbi Brown, Morphe, Urban Decay, Tarte, like literally every brand you could ever think of is on there at some point. Anyway, so it's all 50% off. It's great. This brush is my favorite Morphe brush, M404. It's just a stipple brush. Now here's the deal. I think this one is great. I think the e.l.f. one is the exact same thing. So I'm gonna link both below. I don't have both because I was trying to get rid of some because I had so many brushes, so I only kept this stipple brush. I used it today for my, what did I use it for? Oh, to blend out my cream bronzer. I used the Charlotte Tilbury little contour wand, and this blended it like a dream. And I usually use a sponge for that, but I used this today and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how good stipple brushes are. So I love that for that. I also used this the other day. What did I use it for? Oh, my cream blush. So again, cream products, absolutely stunning with this, especially if you want more of a diffuse look. That's where a stipple brush comes in, and it can be so beautiful. You can totally use this with powder. You could use this with a really pigmented blush that you want to maybe tone it down. This is great because it has shorter bristles and longer ones. That's the idea. So you can stipple things on your face, but it also just helps to diffuse product really, really easily. So love this, but again, you don't have to get the Morphe one. You could totally get the e.l.f. one that I'll link below too. And e.l.f. If they still do, they had a large one, which was like this size, and then they had a small one, which was a lot smaller. And it's great for, again, really detailed work with blending out cream products. So both are amazing. And that small stipple brush one is great for concealer. So I'll link both because I kind of missed the small one. I think I need to buy that one again. Also, the small stipple one I want to try. It just came to me for blending out eye primer on my eyes because it is more detailed, but it's still diffusing it. That's genius. Well, boy, I was gonna do face then eye, and here I am. I did like a random eye one. A couple of Luxie ones. These are basically the same thing. Now, here's the deal. You see a ton of YouTubers using these, most likely because they got them in BoxyCharms and Ipsies. That's exactly where I got these. I have never bought Luxie with my own money. Now, having tried some of the Luxie brushes, if it were easily available, I could see myself buying them because they're, first of all, they're always pretty. Like they have this the pink ones, which I think are like their normal line. I have no idea. But I also had one or have one that's like a periwinkle color, which is like the prettiest freaking color, like lavender, you know? Anyway, so they're always pretty, but they're really well made and they're really, really soft. Now, I have like 5 Luxie brushes that are all like the same. This is the 522 tapered highlighter. This one's the Precision Foundation number 660. I mean, honestly, they're so similar. Now this one, the foundation one's obviously denser. I actually use this for highlight, and then I use the highlight brush for bronzer. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so I've been using the foundation one to lay down, again, just pressing it into the skin. I use this to lay down highlight. Cream, sure. Powder, of course. All versions. I think because it is meant for cream, it ends up doing a great job with both cream highlighters and powder. But again, it's got like this kind of flatter portion to it that just makes the application so seamless, so easy. I've never used this for foundation. It's not really my cup of tea. I guess you could use it to kind of paint it on and then, I don't know. So the tapered highlighter, obviously you can use it for highlighter. It's a little large for what I like for that. So again, I use this kind of a brush. I'll use it to set my under eye sometimes. Pretty large though. Again, I said I use this for bronzer and I do. It can be slightly detailed, but again, it can still diffuse it well enough because it is so soft. It's not super dense. So I do like this. Do I think you have to have this brush? No, but it is a nice one if you, like if this shape you're drawn to. I could see people using it for blush as well. Can I mention one that I don't think is worth the money? I could probably do a whole video, but this one's just in my brush cup and I've been using it. I like it. I'll keep using it, but you don't ever need to run out and buy the money, but spend the money. This Charlotte Tilbury brush, the Powder and Sculpt. Guys, look at this. It came like this. So I washed it and it's still like, it's just like the hairs are going everywhere. It's slightly soft. It does just a fine job. I use it to actually set my under eye. It's fine. But I just don't think it's any better than like, it's like almost the exact same shape as this Luxie one, maybe slightly more tapered and thinner. But you guys, this is so expensive. And again, it's not as soft. It feels a little rough when you're really, like if you're really using it, it can feel a little rough. I think it might be natural hairs, but regardless of that, it's just such a high price point. I don't think it's worth it. I just don't. I'm willing to spend money on good brushes, but if I don't feel like they're above and beyond what else is out there, then why would you spend the money? You know what, duh. Okay, on to eye brushes. Another brush that I'm obsessed with is from Sephora, and it's their Pro Crease Brush number 10. Now again, this is really soft, but the hairs are kind of splayed just a tinge on the outside, but there's something about it, like it doesn't bother me. A lot of mine that are more natural do the same thing. So again, I'm pretty sure that Charlotte Tilbury one is more natural and that's why it's doing it, but I also just don't think that brush is great, whereas the other ones I think do an amazing job. So this one's a crease brush. It is the perfect crease brush. It's exactly what you want when any YouTuber says, I'm just gonna use a fluffy crease brush. This is it. This is that kind of brush. It's just lovely. It washes just fine. It blends things like a dream. I probably shouldn't use it because there might be like residual shadow from some other look, but it really is such a nice crease brush. Another one I love is from Sedona Lace. Sedona Lace is a little bit more affordable with brushes, but the problem is you'd have to like buy it from their site. But there's something about the shape of this freaking brush. It's their EB21. Again, I've had this for years, so I hope they still sell it. I use this almost exclusively for 2 different things. So I guess it's not exclusive at all, is it? I use it for my like under the eye shadow. And then I also use it for like if I really want a detailed like outer corner. Again, I only go so detailed. I'm not a makeup artist. That's not really my thing. So I'm never too concerned with teeny tiny brushes, although I do have a few to recommend. But this one for me, if you're kind of like me and you use brushes, like you'll do sometimes a darker color on the outer corner, this is a really nice size for that because you can really place it where you want it. And then you could get maybe a small crease brush to kind of blend it a little bit. But again, I also love it for the lower lash line. It's just thin enough, but it's soft enough to still diffuse color back and forth under there. And that's why, honestly, I'm always using this. I don't have another brush that I like using for that purpose. This is the one I always use. So I have a few from Delium Tools, which again is slightly more affordable. It's not drugstore by any means. And again, you have to buy it through their site, or there are a couple other like makeup sites you can get it from. But long ago, they sent me their Golden Triangle set, and I literally love every single brush in those sets. So if you're looking to like buy a brush set, all of their brushes, at least in that set, is incredible. But these are 3 that I use all of the time. So the one I use to set, like to put like a little bit of color on my inner corner is, oh, it's this one. This number 542 Bold Lip Brush. I know, stay with me. I like to wet this sometimes because I'm just using it on myself. I will lick the brush, dip it into a pigment or a really like light shadow and place it on my inner corner. I can use it. Okay, calm down. I know, guys. Yes, I know bacteria can get near the eyes. Calm down. There are about 5 of you right now freaking out and you want to write a paragraph comment about bacteria and how I can. Yes, I'm aware. I'm an adult choosing to do it this way. Let it go. Yes, I blow on my brushes. One that I love to use for like laying, again, I like to wet this one. It's super synthetic. It feels like a watercolor paintbrush. So does that other one. It is the 934 Precision Concealer. I don't use it for concealer. I love to use this to lay down like a super glittery shadow. Now, to be honest with you, more often than not, I use my fingers. I just do, I prefer to. But if I'm wanting to maybe be more precise, like on New Year's, I was doing a little bit more of a finished look. So I ended up using this and it lays it down so beautifully and it's straight enough on the sides that you can really, you know, without actually doing a cut crease, you can kind of get a more defined line. You know what I mean? So I really like this. This was a newer one for me to discover my love for it, if that makes sense. So I do like that. And then another one I use all of the time is their 777 Shadow. 777. This one is just a standard, like, pack the eyeshadow on kind of brush, but I also use it, like today I actually used it on my lower lash line because I wanted a little bit thicker of a line of shadow on my lower lash line. And this one is thicker than that other one I was using, like much thicker. So this wouldn't standardly be used that way, but I did so. But I think it does a great job, again, of diffusing like a medium brown tone, if that's what you're using, or whatever you might want that's maybe a lighter color. This does a great job of that. Sometimes I'll apply it with that Sedona Lace Thinner brush, the EB21. And then I'll use this one to diffuse it out, and it does such a great job. These freaking brushes, the Delium Tools brushes are so soft. Oh my gosh. And by the way, the handles are triangular. That's why it's their golden triangle line. So beautiful. Also, isn't this blue like the prettiest blue you've ever seen? I have one from Alamar Cosmetics. I'm assuming you can buy these. Now, the reality is, it's really just the shape of brush that I like, but this is the one I've just been using a ton. It doesn't say what it is. I think it came in like our BoxyCharm, or maybe it was a set. Regardless, it's this very flat kind of eyeliner brush. And I have been really into getting a super black matte shadow, dipping a brush like this into it and just placing it, you know, you can kind of wiggle it at the lash line. That's like a true tight line. It's such a simple way. And then if you want to kind of rub it back and forth, you can kind of diffuse the line a bit. And it's such a quick way to line your eyes without grabbing an eyeliner. And for me, again, if you've got a kid at home, or if you're just busy, maybe you get ready really quickly in the morning for work, whatever your situation is, if you're used to getting ready quickly, this saves me a lot of time because I can just dip it. It still boldens and darkens my lash line, which is exactly what I feel like I need. And then I can throw my mascara on and it all blends together and it looks really pretty. So if you've never tried it, try it. You might surprise yourself, but you need to find a really good matte black shadow, like one that's crazy black and crazy pigmented, because I've used it with other shadows that just aren't as good, and it definitely makes it not fun to apply and it doesn't look as black. So you really need a good one. This was a very new purchase for me. This is the Urban Decay Essential Eye Tool. Now, do you need this exact one? No. But really I was buying it because I wanted a spoolie and I wanted a really good spoolie. And this is a really nice one. It really brushes your brow hairs. It's super firm and dense, which is what I want, because if I'm really, especially if I'm like trimming my eyebrow, this is the perfect thing to kind of pull them up so that I can trim against it. It's perfect. And it's great for if you've gotten a little heavy-handed or you're just trying to brush some color through. This does an amazing job. Now, I don't use this brush on this side, but this almost scary lash comb is amazing. It's my little secret for getting like really fanned out. It's hardly a secret, you guys. But I've tried a lot of different lash combs. I used to have one that was from Sephora that folded in and out, but it broke, and then I'm like, okay, fine. So I ended up throwing it away. But I loved it, so I needed a replacement for that. And this does exactly the same thing. It's the same kind of brush, but I'm really careful, and I kind of hold my lash with my finger here and I comb through. Sometimes I'll even do it after I've already applied mascara because it's metal, it's strong enough to get through your already mascaraed lashes, you know what I mean? Unless you're maybe using like a really clumpy waterproof one, that might pull your lashes out. So maybe just don't even try it, because now I'm getting nervous for you. But if you've got a mascara like I'm using the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, every once in a while if it's super clumpy, I'll just grab this and go and brush it through there and it'll separate. Anyway, but when I use this, I'll use this after doing my liner. When I'm about to put on mascara, I'll comb through it, then I'll curl it with the curler. I'll show you the one I have in a minute. And then I'll brush through it, and my lashes look so much more fanned out and separated. I love this tool in particular, but again, there are many of these out in the world, but just finding one that has a really good spoolie and a nice metal one. Now, be careful, because you can poke your eyes and it is awful. So just be really careful, because this is no joke. I have a few that I've fallen in love with recently from Smith Cosmetics. They're sold on Beautylish. A lot of people are liking them. They're kind of a beloved brand from like some makeup artists here on YouTube. I really have been impressed with these few that I've tried, enough so that I've added a few more to my cart for, I'm trying to like think on my purchases more, so I'm sitting on it. They're all just sitting in my cart. I'm also looking at a bunch of Wayne Goss brushes that are also sitting in my cart. Anyway, so these are the three that I bought that I really, really like. So this is the Smith 232. This one is, again, a fluffy eye brush. Do you have to have this one? No. Is this the one I reach for more than anything? Yes. I can't decide if it's because I spent the money on it and I want to get the use out of it, or because I genuinely like it more than, say, like the Sephora one, but they're all really, really good. Sigma has a great one. They're all kind of the same, so I don't think you have to spend the money. Smith brushes are really cute too, because they have like this wood grain texture to it. But these are definitely natural bristle brushes, and they blend really well. Now, the winner in my book from Smith Cosmetics is this one. This is their 230. This is a thinner crease brush. And the reason I think this is the winner is because for me, I'll use the bigger one to kind of get, you know, a base color in my crease and to help blend things. But if I'm wanting just a deeper color, truly just in my crease, this is the one I reach for. And it is like the game changer brush for me, because I felt like I needed something between, but a lot of these smaller crease brushes are so dense that you feel like you can't like apply it well without it just like sticking to that area, because it was so dense. This one is still fluffy. I love that. So this one is like, I could see myself buying another one of these just because I use it so much. Last Smith Cosmetics one is this one in the numbers 205. It's like an eyeliner brush. I love this. Again, I'll use this also for laying down black eyeshadow on my lash line, but mostly I use this for my cream liner. And this one is doing a great job of holding up through many, many washes. My cream liner brush I have to wash a lot because obviously it's got cream and gel eyeliner on it. It can dry on it, ruin the bristles. And I've gone through so many that I've liked a lot. But this one I think is my favorite because it's just thin enough, it's precise enough. If the bristles on these kinds of brushes start to splay out, it's ruined really, because for me, if I'm trying to do a really precise like little wing, I can't have bristles sticking out. I had a MAC one that I used for literally 5 years and I still have it, but it is really teetering on the edge because it really, I've gone through washes, I've kind of combed it, you know, trying to get it like back to normal, and it still has a few splayed out because I've used it for so many years. And so when I go to use it for cream liner, I'll get like a dot up here, you know what I mean, from that brush. So, okay, that's way too far, but you know what I mean. So just something to be aware of, and this one is doing a great job withstanding a lot of washes. So I have a few other tools I wanted to mention that I use. You guys know that my ultimate favorite sponge, donde está? My favorite sponge is the L'Oreal one. Now, one trick I mentioned in a recent video that I've learned about this is I buy a lot of these. I wait till they're on sale at Ulta, and I'll do like the buy one, get one half off. Honestly, you can get them on Amazon for even cheaper. So now that I've discovered that, again, I have all this in my Amazon recommendations. Not all of this, that would be amazing. Not all of these are sold on Amazon. But what is, I have a lot of those in that Amazon recommendations. This is on there, and it's way cheaper there than it is at most stores. So actually, I think at all stores I've seen it at. So something to keep in mind. But I stock up on these because my dog steals them, but also it's good to, I don't like to keep them for too long. I know you can disinfect them a little bit, but when Pinocchio rips them up, especially if it's one that's been recently cleaned, and I think it's totally clean, if you look at the inside, it's still gross. So keep that in mind, you know? So anyway, long story short, I go through a lot of these. What I've realized is every time I get a new one, I'll use it like 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, like I feel like it's not right. Like it's not the way I remember my L'Oreal sponges every single day that I use it. But I've realized after about 3 or 4 times washing it each day, once a day for 3 or 4 days, it starts to get to where I like it. So if you've tried this a couple times and you're like, I don't get it, why does Jessica like it? Keep going, keep washing it, because I think it'll get to that like really soft, bouncy texture that I love, but it definitely takes a couple of days. But another one from L'Oreal that I think they still sell is their little, I think it's their concealer one. This one is incredible. I forgot about it until I saw it, and I was like, oh, but I don't know that they still sell it. So if they do, I'm gonna buy a bunch. These are the same kind of texture. This one's not wet, but it gets really bouncy and squishy, and it is just the right shape to really get in there, and it blends concealer out so well. When I saw this today, when I was looking at my brushes, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to mention that. And also, oh my gosh, I need to use that again. I forgot about it. It is really, really good. So if you don't really like using brushes for concealer, this will be your best friend. A velour puff for me is a staple because I don't like putting loose powder everywhere, but if I'm gonna do it, I like to at least, I'm like, if I'm gonna really go through with putting loose powder, I like to do it this way. It's how my makeup teacher long ago taught me. Now she taught us to kind of roll it and roll it onto the face, apply it however you want. That's just how, you know, some people do it. Again, there are not hard and fast rules in makeup. Do what you want. But this one's kind of old, it's from Laura Mercier. I don't think you need to spend the money on this. I kind of regret spending the money on this. Although, did they send this to me? I don't even remember. It was so long ago. You can wash these with soap and water. I do all of the time. I need to wash this one. However, I'm buying, oh, powder came out. I'm gonna buy this 3-pack on Amazon. I'll put a picture of it on the screen right now. A friend of mine had this and they feel exactly the same. And so I'm excited to buy them, so I can have a 3-pack, so I can, one that's dirty, I can just throw in with my dirty brushes and use a new clean one from time to time. So I don't feel like I have to wash it constantly. But also you can save the money, and then you get 3. If you only want to keep 2 or 1, pass some on. But it's way cheaper. I think this single velour puff is like 15 bucks. You do not need to spend 15 bucks. And it's not even really that cute. The ones on Amazon are like cute. It's got like the kind of satiny little like ribbon. I'm like, perfect. So save your money. My favorite lash curler is this Shiseido one. Now, find one that's wide enough for your eye shape. So for me, what I realized, I hated using lash curlers because I would feel like they're not quite wide enough for my lashes. So I would like try it, but it'd be missing some on one side, or it just wasn't comfortable to use. So they have ones like, I think it's Tweezerman. I cannot find those. I think I traveled with them and they disappeared. But Tweezerman had my favorite ones that were specifically for like wider eyes. So I might link that one as well. I have a question for you guys though. What are your favorite tweezers? Because I had my favorite ones, and again, those also disappeared, and I could cry because they were just right. Like they were separated enough that I really felt like I was getting in there when I would be able to like pluck, you know, things that are just outside my brow line. So please let me know what your favorite ones. I'm currently using these like Tweezerman Huda Beauty ones, but they don't go out wide enough. Like I like my tweezers to be out so that way I can like really, I can't explain it, but this, I can't like get in there. So I feel like I never can pluck my eyebrows well with this. So I need a new one. I will spend more money if you really think it's that great. So please give me your recommendations down below. So another favorite, I tried dermaplaning, which is basically like getting the vellus hairs off of your face It's basically shaving your face, but it's not with like a typical razor. So I bought these Tinkle razors, isn't that a funny name, on Amazon. They're really cheap for a 3-pack. Again, that's linked below. But I must be doing something wrong because I can't get everything. I think I might like pay to actually get my face dermaplaned, see if I even like it to keep it up. But if you have, I will say this, if you have like hairs on your chin you don't like, or maybe you have like little hairs like right in your mustache area, your mustache, you know what I mean, your upper lip that you don't like, this will get the job done because you can really focus on that area. You kind of hold it at like a 45-degree angle. But I think if you're trying to remove every single thing on your face, it just takes forever and all that kind of time. But I still recommend it for like just kind of spot treating. So, and these are like beloved by so many people. So I definitely recommend it for that reason. It's kind of a nice thing just to have in case you need it. So those are all of the makeup brushes and tools that I'm loving right now. Again, let me know if you'd be interested in me doing a strictly affordable, like the best drugstore brushes, because again, I do have favorites that I just no longer have because they got really old or I've had them for years or whatever, or like I kind of quickly thumbed through my other brushes, but there are some that I still have that I still think are great, but I just had to curate this down because I have a lot of brushes I love. So let me know if you'd be interested in that style of video. I would love to do that for you guys. And like I said, stay tuned for my like Target get ready with me kind of video coming soon, where I will be using some of those new Sonia Kashuk brushes. But other than that, I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.